Good afternoon. This is Cynthia Kanaki with the ALS Association, and thanks so much for carving time out of your day to join us. Today's webinar is one of a series of monthly webinars designed to bring information of a practical nature to families living with ALS. Today's guest speaker has a broad background in technology and assistive care, and is going to be sharing information about how families can use technology to keep in touch during the year-end season and as the new year unfolds. Alisa Brownlee is an assistive technology professional. She has nations, and she's also a consultant with the Greater Philadelphia ALS Association chapter, as well as the National ALS Association. Alisa, I believe you're on the line and have some information to share regarding your broad background. We do have some opportunities for you to connect with Alisa. If you'd like to comment or question into the chat box, we'll review those at the end of her presentation for the benefit of everyone on the line. In addition, this webinar is being recorded, so we'll have opportunity to access that link through your local ALS Association chapter or the ALS Association national website. Alisa, I believe you are on the line and you may share your screen.
Thanks, Markea. So as Cynthia mentioned, I've been with the association for quite some time, over 20 years, and I have a varied background in assistive technology, but it's been a real pleasure to work with the association for 24 odd some years. I am going to be showing you a variety of products, and I have no interest in these products, financial interest or anything else. These are just products that I have found that have helped our folks with ALS. I'm happy to share my slides. Please email me at the email address here. It's also going to be on the last slide. So we're talking about how to stay connected, and the reason we're talking about this is twofold. One, we have the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic happening, and the other is, we have holidays and we want to stay connected and figuring out how we can do that while being safe. But I also want to begin this presentation about emergency preparedness, because the unfortunate circumstances, one of the places that you might have to communicate with somebody will be in the hospital or in a nursing home. And right now, that's problematic because now we're surging again. A lot of the hospitals in my area are not allowing visitors or caregivers in the emergency room. They're not allowed in nursing homes. So we have to figure out how are you going to stay connected with your loved ones should one of you, any of you in your family, be hospitalized during this pandemic. And one of the things that's essential that we tell families about all the time is to have a go bag. And a go bag is a bag that's placed near your door, whatever door you're exiting and entering. It's going to have all the information that's listed here. This is based on what FEMA has suggested that you have in your bag. One of the things that I can't stress enough is something simple, but have a phone charger and buy a 10-foot phone charger. Go to Five Below or Walmart, invest in the longest cord you can, because the charger or the electrical outlet in a hospital might not necessarily be right behind the bed. It might be off sides, or you might need that 10 feet. So put a phone charger in the bag and promise yourself never to take it out. Other things that's recommended in your go bag: medical insurance, information that you would want an ambulance or a hospital to know. Having a tablet, or not a tablet, excuse me, a holder for your tablet or your phone is really essential during this time. If you want to do FaceTime from a hospital room or a nursing home, you don't want to have to hold your device the entire time. So buy a cheap holder off of Amazon or Walmart and put it in the bag too. And part of that bag should be medical information packet. This packet is already available on the National ALS Association website. And I'm sorry, we changed our website. I missed it. It's als.org. My apologies, there's no A. But if you type the A there, it'll still take you to the right place. And this medical information packet you can fill out, and you want to put it in pen and paper. You might not have access to a cell phone. Your cell phone might die. You might, and somebody might forget to send it to with you in the event of an emergency. So you want all this information written on a piece of paper in pen or pencil, and so that your physician or whoever is taking care of you at the emergency room can flip through and know who your neurologist is, and know what medications you're on, and know who to call, your next of kin. So this is downloadable and printable through the National Association website. And for those, because this is my area of expertise, that have communication difficulties, have a letterboard or have some form of communication in the bag, whether or not that's a letterboard like this, or whether or not you use pen and paper. If the individual with ALS writes, put extra in the bag. And always have a system that spells out, John says yes, no, and maybe bye. And that is imperative in the bag. That should be the first thing in the bag. If somebody can't speak, the first thing the emergency room team pulls out of the bag is how this person with ALS communicates. That's imperative. So there are communication boards. The National ALS Association gives these out free. Just send me an email, or you can download them from a website called patientprovidercommunication.org. And Patient Provider also has bilingual free communication boards available. Have a piece of paper about your emergency room considerations. Shortness of breath, please don't lie me flat if you can't lie flat. Oxygen may not help. Avoid giving me things, especially if you have a gastrostomy tube. Make sure that your piece of paper that says, don't make me take a pill. So have that. You can make up your own, or again, you can use the one that we have from the national website, but make sure it is customized based on how you communicate. So up here, I say yes by moving my eyes to my right. I say no by moving my eyes to my left. I say maybe by looking up. So how we stay connected, hospital stays, nursing home, even home life. So you have a smartphone or a tablet. Well, you have apps that are built in already that enable you to connect both verbally through making a phone call or through video chat. So on your Apple devices, FaceTime is built in. On your Android devices, you need to download an app called Google Duo, D-U-O, and that will enable you to have video chats on your Androids. The problem that you run into is that I have an Apple iPhone and my daughter has an Android device. We can't video chat. FaceTime is only for Apple to Apple devices, and Google Duo is Google to Google devices. So if I am using my iPhone and trying to have a video chat with somebody on an Android, I need to use a third-party messaging app. So you can use Facebook Messenger if you both have Facebook accounts. If you don't, WhatsApp is a great option. Actually, WhatsApp is actually owned by Facebook, but WhatsApp enables 2 different devices to have video chat and also phone chat. And you can send things just like you can do texting, and you can send pictures and everything else through WhatsApp. And the nice thing about WhatsApp is it also has a free app for the desktop, so you can actually use it through a desktop computer too. You have Snapchat. And then you have Skype, which is internet calling, but you can also on Skype do video and just phone chat if that's what you want. So smart speakers are being used in a variety of different ways, but especially now in keeping people connected when they're living in a facility, or sometimes if they're in inpatient hospice. So smart speakers allow the video screen, and you can see each other then. And so there are basically two video smart speakers, the Amazon Echo and Google Home. This one here on the left is Google Home, and these two products are Amazon Echo products. I'm going to be talking about the Echo products simply because it's what I'm familiar with and what I'm comfortable with, but I own a Google Home and I own an Amazon Echo Show. So I like them both. I'm just going to stick with one product right now, and that's going to be the Amazon Echo product. So the Echo comes in 3 different sizes. So the largest is 10-inch, then there's an 8-inch, and then there's a 5-inch screen. And you can make video calls. You can see the person, but then the person, you know, you can see yourself, and then you can see the person. Same thing as FaceTime or Google Duo. It's just on a much larger screen. It's also easier for people to use that aren't familiar with smartphones, because if you just were going to call grandma here, or grandma's calling you, all she has to say is, you know, the word, whatever you give it, computer, Alexa, whatever you tell it, call Michael. The machine, a smart speaker calls whoever is in her contact list. So the Echo Show enables video calls. You can make video calls from Echo Show to Echo Show, or you can make a video call to anybody who has the Alexa app on their smartphone. The Echo Show can also cycle through some of your favorite photos, so it helps you feel close to your loved ones throughout the day. And all Echo devices can be used with a feature called drop-in. And it's a voice call option that operates, excuse me, similar to walkie-talkies, but between Echo devices in different homes. So I have a video. I'm not going to play the whole video, but I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what it can do.
All right. So somebody asked me, even though I've done this in the past, how to do a video call. And a video call is the same thing as what's called dropping in. And so I can drop in on my parents, but on their contacts for the same device. They have the exact same device that I have. In the contact for my name, they have to allow permission to drop in. And you can't just drop in on anybody. Let's say that they're not appropriate, or they don't want you to drop in, or what have you. At least they have an opportunity to like get out of the view of the camera or what have you, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. When I drop in on somebody, it's gonna initially appear very blurry, and it's gonna get more and more clear for the next 15 seconds until it's sharp, but it makes a noise on their end so they know that I've dropped in. And you know, even if they're not home, I can just check in on their house and make sure everything's okay or whatever. But all you have to do is, computer, drop in on Dad.
Do you want to drop in on Dad 8 or Pravina Talker?
Dad 8. And that's it. See, I can see me in the background in the corner, and then their screen will start off blurry. Hello. Maybe nobody's home, but see, it gets more and more clear. So it doesn't look like anybody's home. So now I can call their cell phone. I could look.
So that's an idea of what drop-in can do. And you can drop in if you're working during the day, a caregiver's at work, or they're going to the grocery store. You can drop in and just see that your loved one is okay, make sure that they don't need anything. You can communicate with them through your smartphone. And you can be, as I said, at the grocery store, talking to them, making sure that they didn't fall out of the chair. So it's a nice way of alleviating some caregiver concerns, especially when they have to leave the house. Now, smart speakers can be set up in advance. Last year, Amazon ran a commercial. I haven't seen it yet this year, where they send an Amazon Echo Show to their older mother, and they've set everything up in advance. So the woman opens the box in the commercial, she plugs it in, and there's a sticky note on there that says, I don't know, call Mary. And so the woman just says, Alexa, call Mary, and it's all set up. So you can do that in advance. You can buy a smart speaker, load the contacts in for whoever you're giving the smart speaker to. It could be somebody in a nursing home, and you load all the contacts in, and then you close up the box, you mail the box to wherever they are, they plug it in, they put it on the Wi-Fi, and they're good to go. So you give them a list of contacts. Call dad, call mom, call Sally, and that's all that the person has to do. You can set it up in advance if you know the Wi-Fi. So if you call the nursing home and say, what's your Wi-Fi password, and you set it all up for them, or if you don't, you send it to the nursing home and you ask the facility to connect it to their Wi-Fi. If there isn't Wi-Fi, you can use an old smartphone or just an old phone that can act as an internet hotspot. So you add a line to your cell plan, you plug the phone in somewhere, and then the person has the ability to still use the smart speaker. So for those that aren't tech savvy, there is a product called a GrandPad, and it is basically designed for the senior market. And I say senior because I'm putting that in quotes. It's good for anyone that does not or is not comfortable using technology. It's very intuitive, easy to use, and it does everything that an iPad does, but it just is not as complicated. Does not require Wi-Fi. There is a monthly bill, but no yearly contract. Starts at $40 a month. And I'm going to show you a quick video. I did see that it was back in stock again.
The problem with current technology is it leaves a lot of people out. It's really hard for seniors today to use the current generation of tools to connect with their families.
All the technology products that I use are designed for my generation. But when you look at it, most products aren't designed for people who are over the age of 75. That's why we've created a solution that's designed completely for seniors.
GrandPad is a way for seniors to reconnect with their family. Really do that in a simple, enjoyable way, so that everything from the buying experience to the unboxing to the first use has been thought through.
My grandma lives 2,000 miles away, and GrandPad is the easiest way for me to do a video call with her. If she wants to call me, all she has to do is tap on my picture, and it'll automatically call me on my iPhone. We've really created this super simple solution that allows the older generations to do video calls with their children and grandchildren.
Look in the camera. Right there.
We've reimagined email on GrandPad. All a grandma has to do to send an email is tap on a contact's picture and speak a voice message. Then their grandchild will receive the email as an audio recording. You can actually hear their voice. It's a much more personal way to send email, and it's much more simple for the GrandPad user.
Nothing is more valuable than family photos. They're the memories, your legacy of your family. But unfortunately today, we all use our smartphones, and we can easily share pictures and videos with our brothers and sisters, but oftentimes grandma's left out of that conversation. With GrandPad, we've bridged that digital divide. One of the great things with GrandPad is the kids can post to the social media sites like they always have, but immediately those pictures show up on grandma's GrandPad. Simple and easy for her.
Before GrandPad, we'd show my grandma photos when we're there with her from our phones, and then we'd leave and she wouldn't be able to see them anymore. Now, all I have to do is take a photo with my iPhone. With the push of a button, I can share it with her, and it shows up right on her GrandPad instantly.
We all love music, but for seniors, it's really hard for them to find and access the music that they love, like Frank Sinatra, or Dean Martin, or Kate Smith, or Patsy Cline. What we do is we curate the music that they love and bring it to them in a simple way. It's actually the music video, so they can see it and participate in it and feel energized by the music that maybe they haven't heard for 30 or 40 years.
We also have family curated weather on the GrandPad. So that means you can see not only your own weather, but the weather of everyone inside your family circle.
Another really important feature of GrandPad is games. games to be entertained and games to keep the mind active. Whether you play by yourself, play against the computer, or we also see a lot of times grandma will have the grandkids come sit on their lap and they'll play the game together. So it becomes a family activity they can do together.
A really important aspect of GrandPad is that we've designed it so that customer support is always one button push away.
So as you can see, it's really easy for somebody who is not technology savvy to use a product like that. So maybe it's, you know, you have somebody in your family that you really want to connect to, but they've just been hesitant to use something because it's scary. So that device is not scary. And as you can see, it comes with full customer support, and it's really easy to use. Another easy to use product that was a tablet. This is a phone. It's called a Jitterbug. It's a smartphone, but it's a simple smartphone. So instead of icons, you can see you only have texts here. So there's not a whole bunch of icons that can sometimes be scary on a screen. So this is just based on, you know, what is it that you want to do? So it's a simple menu organized in a single list. With this one, there's no contract, no cancellation fee, and it starts the plan says it starts at $17.48 a month, and it is available on Amazon. And I just have a brief video about it.
Today is another birthday for my daughter Jen, and as usual, it had me looking back at our family photos. When I found a gorgeous picture of her first birthday, sharing the memory was easy with my new Jitterbug Smart 2. It has so many features that help me with my day-to-day tasks. Unlocking it can be done with a simple swipe. And with voice typing, I can quickly dictate messages without pressing lots of buttons, which makes texting so easy. I love how my Jitterbug keeps me connected to my family and friends. Today is another birthday.
The basics of the Jitterbug. Just a smartphone, but an easy to use smartphone. And I've mentioned the iPads. They have been ranked #1 for seniors and for people that aren't tech savvy by Tech Radar, Caring.com, and multiple other sites. If you're worried about icons causing confusion, you can move them around so that your home screen might only have 2 or 3 icons, so that somebody who is easily confused could just press on the one icon that they're looking for. And the iPad does come in 3 sizes. It's the mini, the regular, and the iPad Pro. And they all have front-facing cameras now, so they can do FaceTime and all the video chats and Zooms and everything else that you want. Multiple different types of holders. I mentioned that before about being in the hospital, but even being at home. Tablets can get heavy after a while, or cell phones, they might be a little shaky depending on the user's physical ability. So getting a holder, and all of these are available on Amazon. You have holders that are on rolling wheels like this, and it can go from room to room. These clamp-on devices can be clamped on the side of a wheelchair, on the side of a hospital bed. They could be clamped on the side of an end table. So really, if you're looking for one that you can clamp on to multiple different sites, you want something that has an end like this. All right. There are kinds that have almost like a big clamp, just what you would, a typical clamp, but they're not as sturdy as something that you would screw in like this holder here. You have just regular desktop ones. This one is, somebody has it on their headboard and they're watching it in bed. And there's something as simple as you can have like a lap desk like this made of soft material. So Amazon Fire. Amazon has a Fire HD tablet, $150. It is the least expensive tablet that you can buy. It is a 10.1-inch display, which is quite large. And you can control the tablet with your voice as well as touch commands. Some of the downsides, it doesn't support Google apps like Gmail and Chrome and YouTube. Could be a deal breaker for some people, but if you're just using it to stay connected, to do your video calls, it's a great, inexpensive option. And PC Magazine has a review for it here. And I'm not going to play the whole thing, but They're going to talk about what they like about it. That's a brief view of the fire. Facebook also has their own devices now at the Facebook portal. And there are 3 sizes. Well, actually, there's 4 different devices. This one is just the camera, and you affix it to your own television. And then you have the mini, then you have the TV, and then you have the plus. You can see here all the different prices. Lets you chat with your Facebook friends. And yes, you must have a Facebook account for this to work. And the unit sits on a desk or a table near your TV, and the camera follows you around. It's quite fascinating. And so you can do your video chats, but you can be also on the move in the room. And there were some concerns when this first came out, about Facebook and letting it deeper into our lives. But it is now considered one of the easiest smart displays to use for video chatting. And as I mentioned, Facebook also owns WhatsApp. So you can use your Facebook portal to take and make WhatsApp video calls. So just a brief video.
Facebook is in the future to video chatting. That's been a feature in Messenger for several years now. But now the company is taking a look at hardware. This is the portal from Facebook. Both these devices look like Amazon's Echo Show. They're basically large tablets on stands. Facebook is releasing 2 of them, the Portal Plus and the Portal. And the Portal Plus is really the most interesting one. It has a 15.6-inch screen that can swivel from portrait to landscape mode. And these devices are really focused on video chatting. They have high-resolution cameras, and Facebook has developed a lot of AI processing that helps the cameras focus on whoever's talking at the moment. It almost looks like somebody is moving the camera and panning around the screen, but actually it's just the AI algorithms trying to figure out who to focus on. From what we've seen from a couple of video chats here, it seems very smooth. It seems very realistic, and honestly not as herky-jerky as something from like a mobile phone camera. The idea from Facebook is really to make video chatting a lot easier and simpler. We've been able to pull out our phones and do a video chat for some time now, but that involves holding up your device and you kind of have to crowd around the screen. These devices are things you can just set up in your living room and basically get your whole family involved. The video angle is wide enough to capture an entire room, but it's also smart enough to focus on individual people, depending on who's talking at a single time. 2 portal users can choose specific people to focus on in the video calls. You can also do things like add special effects and hats. One really cool feature is story time, where you can basically use the portal and it'll overlay all sorts of cool computer effects to help you tell a story to your kids or to your grandkids. The idea is really interesting. They're basically the sort of devices you can send to family members just to help them stay connected with you and to help them video chat more easily. It's something I could see grandparents really wanting, especially if they live far away from their grandkids, and basically treat video chat as something as simple as like sitting in a room with somebody. Facebook is really positioning.
So that's the Facebook portal. And of course, people stay connected on social media. Facebook has groups that will allow you to connect with others. If you're interested in the ALS community, there are several different groups. The most active are the ones I have listed here: Patient and Caregiver Tips for Everyday Living. They post 1, 2, 3 times a day. Our Lives with ALS, Veterans with ALS, and a shameless plug for my own Facebook group, the ALS Assistive Technology Group. But other people stay engaged and stay connected through their local chapters Facebook pages, or, you know, if it's outside the ALS room or ALS realm, there literally is probably a group for everyone. And I think that was a Facebook commercial earlier this year. You know, if you're into quilting like I am, or if you're into biking, or, you know, I don't know, you love being on a scooter, there's a group for everyone, okay? And then use of Twitter. Twitter is great for advocacy. If you really want to make change in our government, if you're interested in the, especially in the ALS advocacy, Twitter is a great place to be. But it is a micro blogging site, so you are limited to 249 characters in your tweet, but you can do a thread, so you can do one tweet under one tweet under one tweet, so you can do a whole thought. You just have to break it up into the character limitations. And Zoom, I think Zoom has come into our world. Everybody talks about Zooming now. We Zoomed Thanksgiving, many of us are Zooming Christmas, but it's more than just staring at your friends. A lot of people have used Zoom to connect with others through movie nights, happy hours, game nights. They have dinner together, book clubs. You can do exercise, mindfulness. You can do volunteer work on Zoom. You can visit exhibits and museums that you may never have been able to visit before. Maybe they're in another country, on the other side of the world. Well, now you can participate in that. There are paint and art parties. So use Zoom to stay connected, get creative. Again, going to, if you have a specific interest, you can usually find a Zoom group for that, join them. You know, make it more than just video chatting, because it really can be a way to share a hobby or to share something you love with other people. Netflix party. So you can hold a Netflix party now, because the Netflix allows you to synchronize the playback and offering group chat as a feature. So as you can see here, this is either a video or a movie or a television show, and here's the chat of the people that are in the Netflix party talking about this particular scene or maybe that actress. So you can invite as many friends as you want and have a Netflix party. Now, this will only work though in a laptop or a desktop, because it's considered an extension in Chrome. So you have to download Chrome browser, and then you can then you can access the Netflix party. But again, you can't do that on a tablet or a phone. It has to be on a desktop or laptop. For those of you that game, or you have children or grandchildren that game and you want to stay connected with them, Steam is a great way to do that. 30,000 video games, 90 million active users. Both of my kids are active on Steam. And it enables you to have remote gaming. So if you're in Pennsylvania and your grandchild's in Florida, you can get an age-appropriate game with them and you can remote game together. So it's a way to stay connected with them. And, you know, we have that saying, you need to meet people where they are. Well, right now we need to meet kids and grandchildren where they are, and a lot of them are gamers. You know, so this is a nice way for adults to interact with children, but also then for adults to interact with other adults. If you're a gamer, you can certainly connect with other people that are interested in gaming through Steam. Here's my contact information. As I mentioned, I'm happy to send you the slides. And I'm also happy to connect with you on social media. I'm on Facebook and Twitter, but also with any assistive technology questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer whatever questions you might have. So with that, Cynthia, if you want to open it up to Q&A.
Yes, thanks so much, Alisa. And again, this entire webinar is focused on using technology that will allow us to connect more easily, that doesn't mean that there may be a hiccup or two. Obviously, those things we're able to surmount, as we've seen earlier. Um, and Alisa, thanks so much for that great overview. You know, this time of year, people are out looking for new technology, or they may be receiving new technology, or people may have time off from school or work due to the holidays. So it's great to have the opportunity to see what types of devices provide what types of connections. And clearly, it is so much easier to connect with people now than it was even a year ago. We do have some comments in the chat box, and please do submit your questions or your comments into the chat box so we can share them with everyone. We have a viewer that shared some information about Duo. I know that earlier in your slides, and I don't know if you can move back to your early slides, you were talking about how the iPhone has FaceTime and the Android phones have Duo that will enable people to have a video chat. Well, Tracy is sharing some information that Duo now has the capability to allow someone with an iPhone to connect with someone with an Android and still be able to make that video connection.
Cool.
So that's great, because we know many friends do have iPhones and others have Androids, but that does not mean that they're unable to connect. So Tracy shares that is a feature, a newer feature on Duo. And as a matter of fact, thanks Tracy for sharing that, because I had the opportunity to assist a sick relative that had one type of telephone connect with their adult son in another state that had another type of phone, and this was exactly the feature that they were able to use in order to facilitate that video communication. Thank you so much for sharing that. Another quick question that came up regarding technology for non-technology users. So apparently someone has an older relative and they were asking about the flip phone. Is there you mentioned a telephone that someone could get, so this would not be through your AT&T or through your Verizon, but this is a telephone that's really designed for seniors. You had mentioned it, and I believe you had a screenshot of that. That enables people to, great. So this comment was just how valuable that was for their relative that was really more elderly and did not want to start getting into an iPhone and learning the new technology. They just wanted to be able to access some basic information. Great. The Jitterbug smartphone, yes, I've seen those ads.
Right. Well, Jitterbug also makes, I didn't put it here, a flip phone. This presentation was more about how we can see each other, but you're absolutely right. Jitterbug makes a flip phone. And the nice thing about the Jitterbug flip phone is it has much larger keys and a larger screen than a typical flip phone.
Wonderful. So that's a feature for those people that may have some limitations with their manual dexterity.
Yeah, you're right. I should have put it on here. And I saw it this morning and I thought, let me just stick with the smartphone. But you're right. I should have put it on there. That is an option. And it, for me, as my stepfather still has a flip phone, the Jitterbug is the best because you can see the keys. They're nice and large, as opposed to small, tiny keys on these small flip phones.
That, and that's what you help as, and when we go back a few years, what we were looking for were smaller and smaller devices to make them seemingly more convenient for most of us to use. But now we see that oftentimes, depending on someone's limitations, really a larger icon or even larger buttons may make it easier for some people to use. So I'm glad that we have the variety available in the marketplace. And
yes,
you said
thank you
most
for bringing
of these,
whoever.
most of these devices, so people can access, they can buy them on Amazon, they can buy them at Walmart, at Best Buy. There are a variety of places where they can go to access these devices and services.
Correct.
Great, great. Okay. Thanks so much. So again, please do, we have a number of folks still on the line here. If you do have another question or comment for Alisa. Alisa, would you do one thing and just quickly go back to your go bag? I know that, you know, the winter weather is upon, I think that the northeastern part of the country now we're looking at some potential weather moving in, and we've already had some snowstorms and some near winter weather across the country. But I know how important it is for people to have what they need in an emergency, and it may be a weather emergency. It may be, you know, someone becoming ill that is not ALS related. Maybe the caregiver in the home is ill, or maybe people that are visiting you, the grandchild is ill, and people have to leave the home very quickly. So I just wanted to give people an opportunity to look at that go bag. It is really imperative to have one of these, so that you have all of the information with you when you have to leave the house urgently. Thanks so much for reviewing that, particularly as winter weather. And even when we're traveling, you know, we don't know when we may be delayed en route someplace. Maybe we're coming back from the clinic or coming back from meeting with relatives, and we're delayed in our own car due to an accident ahead or inclement weather. So it's always great to have an emergency or a go bag with us.
Correct, and it also for people that might live in areas that are prone to natural disasters. You should always have a go bag. You know, if during, you know, hurricane season or tornado season, should always have that in case you have to evacuate your home. As I mentioned, this list is from FEMA, and FEMA has a whole division on their emergency preparedness website for people with disabilities. And I would encourage you to familiarize yourself with it. FEMA also has an app that can be downloaded that'll tell you, it'll give you an alert if something's happening in your particular area. Weather-wise or an evacuation that might happen for some other reason. So it's a great resource to have in your smartphone.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks again. So if you can just put your contact slide back up on the screen, this entire webinar is being recorded and people can access that through the ALS Association website, that's als.org, or through their local chapter. Thanks again so much for carving time out of what I know is a very busy schedule for everyone as the end of the year comes to a close. I wish you all the best for enjoying safe and happy year-end season. Thanks so much, and we look forward to having you join us in January for our January Living with ALS educational topic call. Take care and have a good afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.